Taking out your thieves' kit, you attempt to open the lock.
You try the door and find it unlocked. Wow, Rayford's pretty cocky, eh?
You'd better get in and out quick. Rayford is bound to turn up. You're standing in Rayford's house. You'd better be quick about things. That old bastard might be home any time. This chest would probably contain Rayford's valuables. It's locked up tighter than a nun's... holy water! I was going to say holy water. Taking out your thieves' kit, you attempt to open the lock. You hear a click and the chest pops open, revealing a small bag containing 130 blighs and a great sword. Nice haul.
Aha! It's a book about the Southwoods. You need the information in there. Better grab it, quickly.
This book looks interesting. The Southwoods, forests and mazes. Why game designers love them so much. You take it, of course.
What a strange title.
Hey, hurry your ass up. You can hear Rayford upstairs. You quietly open the door and slip outside before Rayford notices you were there.
Ah, the old comfy bed. You decide to lie down. You sleep until the morning and wake up with the daylight. It's now morning.
You're starving. You should go downstairs and get some breakfast from Ina.
You have equipped your greatsword. You stole this book from Rayford, that old bastard. You thumb through the book about the South Woods. While it's mostly about the botany of the plants and the rocky beaches, you do see one passage that is useful. You learn that the best way to navigate through the maze-like west section of the woods is to go east, east, south, south, east, north, north, west, north, east, and west. You sit down at the table.
Here's your meal, Mr. Rowan, sir.
Looks lovely. Thank you, dear.
You wolf down all the food and give a proper belch. pitch dark in here. You can't find your way anywhere. That doesn't seem to do anything. You open the jar and release the fireflies. They fly out, and suddenly the swamp is bright enough to see in. Pretty cool. It's a swamp. There's some gnarled old trees growing up into a canopy overhead, which doesn't allow for much light. There's few living plants here. The worst part of this place is the stink. This place smells bad. A combination of rotten plant matter, stagnant water, and noxious gases. You've moved deeper into the swamp and it really is starting to stink now. In fact, you're concerned your clothes will never lose the smell. You could feel something was amiss when you got here. You prepare for combat.
Damn it. Damn it.
You have a feeling of pride surge within you at your victory. Nice job.
Nothing.
That bastard had nothing. After you took all that effort to kill him. Pathetic. Although you do take its venom sac, as they can be used for all sorts of poisons. It's not so much a path as it is more solid ground than the water sections. An old wagon wheel, now submerged in this corner of the swamp. You wonder why a wagon would be there in the first place, or if some idiot just rolled a wheel here. A spider has been busy at work creating this nest. It makes you appreciate the effort these creatures put into their work. The feeling passes, and you feel normal again. The plants grow here despite the lack of sunlight. The way north is blocked by what must be a mountain of some sort. It's an old rusty grate on that old rusty sewer pipe. You think nothing good could come from either. Some poor bastard died here. Time and whatever animals infest this god's forsaken place have stripped him down to the bones. An old tree has fallen here over a putrid stretch of swamp.
That looks like a geyser tree to me. Nice. Now I won't get my boots wet either.
You can't break off the branch with your bare hands. You should find some better tools. You try to saw off the branch, but your saw is too rusty. It just won't cut. You rub the oil all over the rusty saw. It should work a little bit better now. You use the saw to cut off a limb from the Kaiser tree. The swamp water has dropped a short way down to leave some solid ground you're using as a path. This swamp just seems to go on forever, and its smell will probably last in your clothes just as long. There's a lantern hanging from a chain wrapped around that tree. The lantern is chained securely to the tree. You could probably get it off if you really wanted to, but damn if it seems just like a lot of work. This area of the swamp sits above the stagnant water and makes a somewhat solid path. The swamp is quite dark, owing to the canopy of trees overhead. There's really not much here except for a bad smell. You stumble through the forest until you crash out here, apparently on a road. This is a bit of Kaiserwood. You wonder why it's so special. Then you realise you have better things to ponder.
Well, I never expected you to complete that task. What can I say? Old gypsies usually have the best information. Hello, sir.
Yeah? Frederick I am, named after my father Frederick, who was named after his father Frederick, who was named after his father Serdif. I love living free here on the grasslands of Lunaria. To me there's no finer nor freer area. We have the King's Road running through it, yet plenty of wide open space to hunt, fish, gather, live a life. He's a good boy. I'd be lost without his help. There's been a few. In fact, my old friend Hummel was a settler. He had a cottage south of here. The ruins of it are still there. No one's had the heart to tear it down. Good man. Moved here many years ago with his wife and young son and built themselves a home out on the grasslands. I didn't know where they came from, and Hummel was reticent to talk about it, but he was a really friendly and helpful guy. He knew all kinds of fascinating stories. You meet a lot of different folks, living as we do, but the Hummels were one of a kind. They often broke bread with us, but mostly they kept to themselves in their cabin. Didn't venture out too much, except to hunt or fish with me. He was my best friend. We used to hunt and fish. Shame about his death, truly. It still haunts me a bit. We were hunting in the North Woods, you know. It's kind of spooky in there. But we were doing fine when all of a sudden he got spooked and started mumbling the craziest things. We were near the burnt down ruins of the old Killington mansion, and whatever he saw in there, well, he turned pale at the sight of the place. Next thing I know, he said, "I can't be here," and ran off. We all ran off to find him, but it was like the forest swallowed him, and we're all experienced woodsmen here. Well, when we found him, it wasn't pretty. He got mauled by a bear, or worse. Truth is, no one knows. We found his body in a clearing in the North Woods, but there was nothing around but his mangled body. No tracks of nothing. Well, we did what we could. We took in his wife and son, and they lived with us for many years. When Mrs. Hummel died, we buried her next to him in graves outside their old homestead. Their son stayed and lived with us for a time, but eventually he moved on. Well, his boy actually took a job being the caretaker of the King's Bridge that crosses the Great River. He lives in a little cabin up there next to the King's Bridge. It's just a bit north of here. Jarrett is his name. It doesn't get too many visitors up there, especially now with the Great Bridge being washed out. May they rest in peace, that poor family. They all died in a horrible fire that consumed their mansion, near half a century ago. They were a good family, but the rumor was that the father, Jarvis, came home from some trip as mad as a loon. They said he stole a gem from the Sentai, which is something only a fool would do. Well, then again, they often say the rich are fools. Wealthy fools, but fools nonetheless. People say the gem, the Eye of Yaga, is still somewhere in the old ruins. But I think they're crazy. If there was anything left in that mansion, it was picked clean long ago. They were good people. They were just looking to start over. He was a good friend. He used to tell me things he'd never tell anyone else. I kept my promise to him, though. I made sure to keep his secret safe in stone. I've already said too much, I think. Good boy.
You could feel something was amiss when you got here. You prepare for combat. You have a feeling of pride surge within you at your victory. Nice job. Searching the corpse reveals some blighs, which you pocket. It's the necklace Kayana gave you. Besides being made of gold and diamonds, she claimed it could help you find one of the pieces. You put the necklace on, carefully hiding it under your shirt in case someone thinks you're a sissy. You can hear strange music, almost as if it's in your head, but it's almost as if it's coming from the necklace too. You feel a warm, tingling sensation coming from the necklace you're wearing. You like it. It's almost as if the necklace was drawn to something here. You take your necklace out from under your shirt and place it on the large rock. The rock has opened up to reveal a tomb of sorts. Inside the tomb is a skeleton. You assume he's the old Sentai priest. He's holding a piece of the Killington seal and a letter. You take both. The tomb begins to close on its own, sealing the Sentai priest inside for the rest of his slumber. You wish you had left him a pillow. You open the letter and read it. The lush foliage and the waterfall add to this place's overall tranquility. You feel oddly at peace. You then shake the feeling and realize you're still not far enough away from that old barren. The water collects in a deep blue pool below the waterfall before it begins to flow through the valley. It's quite breathtaking, actually. You pull out your trusty rope and climb down to the banks below. This really is a beautiful area of the forest. You actually feel at peace here, which for you is a strange thing. The waterfall is rushing down the steep cliff of moss-covered stones before disappearing to the south. You take some moss off the rocks. Water flows majestically down the side of this mountain. Looking closely, you can almost make out something behind the waterfall, although it could simply be a trick of the light. You plow through the waterfall and find yourself in a cave. Wiping the water from your eyes, you squint and see a gnoll standing on top of a pile of treasure. He doesn't seem really excited or happy to see you.
Well, what the hell do you want?
Well, I was just looking for some beauty tips. Can you help me?
Eat every part of my ass, human. Seriously, it was nice to see someone else in here for a moment, but if you don't leave in the next 60 seconds, I will remove your head.
You stow your climbing kit in your backpack. Man, that was fun. Displayed prominently in the cave are the skeletal remains of adventurers who made the mistake of crossing the knoll. It's an ugly knoll, sitting on a massive pile of treasure.
It's a cave, you fool. It's behind a waterfall, so people don't disturb me. Obviously, you didn't get the hint. Well, I'm fine, thank you. I'm a bit bored. I mean, I just sit here. But you know, a Gnoll's treasure hoard is everything. I just wish I had something to do while I sit here. Anyway, it's not like you give a millimeter of mouse poop about my problems. My name? Not that you care, but it's Gary.
Gary, you know?
I prefer Gary the Gnoll, thank you. It's mine. I've collected it, and I've sat here guarding it for over 20 years, and I will seriously kill you until you die from it if you try to take any of it. Oh yeah, you know I did find something like that. Piece of junk. You're still not getting it, so go! Go! You better get out of here quickly, or I'm not responsible for what happens to you.
This guy really needs to mellow out.
Don't come back!
Hey, have this pipe.
Oh, thanks, I guess. So what am I supposed to do with an empty pipe?
Hey, look, man, you need to relax. You've been alone on a pile of treasure for too long. Here, have this tobacco.
Well, I suppose I could indulge a little.
The gnoll takes the pipe and ignites it. He takes in small, enjoyable puffs. The aroma of fine tobacco spreads through the room, and he seems, well, happier.
Damn, man. You know, that was just what I needed.
Hey, no problem.
Here, I want you to have this. It's obvious you need it. I know. It's not worth anything, and I'm never gonna leave here to use it anyway.
This massive pile of treasure looks mighty tempting, but unfortunately, there is a gnoll sitting on top of it. You can see a few items of great rarity amongst the treasures, such as Aladdin's lamp, the magic mirror of Daventry, the flying carpet of Abdullah Du, and the magic bong of Blackthorn. Do you see that, gnoll? He'd kick your ass if you even tried to take some of that treasure. You already got what you wanted here. Better not push your luck. Oh crap! You slipped on the wet edge.
Stupid Noel.
Nothing like a good climb, eh?